Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Sustainiacs with Mr. Michael Vincent, podcast extraordinaire. How are you doing today, Michael?
I'm doing great, man. Peace and love, my brother, and
Peace
everybody
and
else out
love.
there. What's going on today, man? Besides, it's a beautiful day here in Chattanooga, by the way, man.
I was going to say,
we're having like 65-degree days, but it's like 45, 50 in the morning. So it's like cold, but then it warms up nice and quick. This is the weather like in the fall when it starts doing this in the fall, where I still wake up 37 years later, 33 years later. I still want to put on a football helmet and just hit somebody.
In my case, I want to get out there on a soccer field and slide tackle somebody.
There you go. You know what I'm talking about. I mean, all those 2 days and 3 days and camps that you went through that would just beat you to death and you're ready to just quit for, in my case, 16 years I played. Now I get that. There's that one morning every year where you wake up, you go, oh yeah, I wish I was back there, right?
I'll never forget. This reminds me, you remember when Olivia Newton-John and the jazzercise aerobics craze was going on?
Let's get physical.
Yes.
Physical. Yeah.
Okay. I had a soccer coach that decided one year for training that we were going to do aerobics at one of those studios.
Oh, nice.
And all of us were looking at each other with all these pictures of people in neon and so forth, going, what are we doing here? What is going on right now?
My wife loves those old, like 80s neon, just a random triangle.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Like that. That's Saturday Night Fever type of stuff.
Yes.
I mean, it's very similar. Yeah. We did ballet. Once we got to high school, we started doing ballet, and we had to do was it positive mental imagery? We had to do that type of stuff. Had to read the book Cybernetics. And we had to log like an hour or 2 hours. I forget. It was either an hour or 2 hours of meditation in, positive mental imagery. Yeah.
Very interesting. We felt like a fish out of water, basically.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
What are we doing here? What in the world is going on right now? But we lived through it. We survived. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you. Yeah. I mean, lead paint, no seatbelts, all that stuff.
Absolutely.
No problem.
Today you and I, Michael, we're going to be talking about companies and individuals charged with allegedly deleting emission control systems.
Yeah.
And very interesting story there. It reminded me, of a story I heard about Harvard students cheating. And I bumped into an article. I was pulled it up actually and was kind of looking back because I remember hearing about this. And
I mean, that was like 11 years ago, dude. And you remembered it.
I do remember that. And
I take back half of what I said about you, dude.
And then in more recent history, all over the news was famous parents getting their kids into schools utilizing false credentials. That happened.
Right. So like in 2012, they were cheating. The kids were cheating on, they were plagiarizing and swapping answers in a course called Introduction to Congress.
Right.
Which I think is perfect. Actually,
I can imagine the Introduction to Congress book is like this big, like this thick.
Yeah. I think the problem is they failed because they got caught, right? I think the course was how to do all this stuff, but not get caught, right? Is what it was. And getting caught was the thing. They flunked out of Harvard because they got caught cheating, right?
Yeah. And they did a massive survey, anonymous, and they made sure it was very careful to be anonymous.
So if you of incoming freshmen, right?
Right, incoming freshmen. So I'm going to read something from this article I found. It said 10% of Harvard's incoming freshman class recently admitted to cheating on exams prior to heading to the Ivy League institution. And another 42% admitted to cheating on a homework assignment or a problem set the university school newspaper, the Crimson, reported.
Wow.
42%, that's almost half.
Well, I don't have a Harvard degree, but I'm guessing you're right.
You know?
So let me ask you this. Though,
I don't know
Andy,
about you, Michael, but I never cheated on homework in high school.
Yeah, no, me neither. Mm-mm. And but let me tell you, but if you're accepted to Harvard, right? And then you get this anonymous survey, you answering that thing?
I don't know that I'm answering it with all the things I cheated on homework in high school.
Yeah, I don't buy the 42% because there's no way 100% of the people who cheated said, yeah, you know what, this seems legit. I'm going to tell Harvard, yeah, that I cheated.
I would say the number realistically is more like 98.9% or something like that.
But it is. And I mean, here's the thing. So here's the thing. You think anybody cheated to get into the local community college?
You don't have to cheat a lot, I don't think.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, it's Harvard, man. Of course they cheated to get in there. You're trying to get into Harvard and you're this close. You need that one little edge. Of course you are. I mean, come on, man. I mean, the institution and the pressure and its prestige and the glory of getting that sheepskin, if we can say that still. Are we allowed to call it a sheepskin still?
I don't think so. I don't know.
For all you non-vegetarians, it was called a sheepskin. You know, that pressure is going to put kids to do something, right? I mean, you need that little bump, especially what was it? There was, athletes were more likely to.
Yep.
Right.
Right. Yes. More likely.
I mean,
right.
Yeah. But okay. So how much of that is pressure coming from directly? I mean, the other one is indirect because of the prestige and you want to get in there, right? How much of like the athletics is the athletic staff really needs Andy Hedrick because he can kick the hell out of that soccer ball. I mean, he can break a plate from mid pitch. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But he can barely spell his own name. How many, you know, how much of that is going on, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, doesn't it make sense that the athletes would cheat more?
It does. It does.
I think so too.
Absolutely. I think so. They're probably getting these tutors that are doing about half of the assignment for them, most likely.
Well, I mean, once the athlete gets into school, that's what they're doing.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. I love the movie, The Blind Side. And it was showing just how hard, I forget his name, Michael, had to work to get through to the level that he had to have a scholarship at an NCAA Division I thing. Man. I mean, they had a team of people basically helping to make sure that went right, you know?
Yeah. Well,
I love that movie.
It's much more, it's even bigger money now, right? Because that pressures are going to get worse and worse with NIL, which I don't disagree with, you know, the players getting paid. You know, I have a buddy who went Division I and, you know, blew his knee out and that was it. I mean, you know, now what's he going to do? After his name sold X number of tickets and his likeness made X number of dollars and his jersey made X number of dollars. Now he's going to graduate with business admin and probably take 4 or 5 years just to make the gross income off of his, you know, anyway.
No, I agree with that.
But
I think that the college athletes should get something. In my personal opinion, they're going to have to put some limits on transfers and who, you know, like the franchise tag and all that stuff now that we have money involved. You know, right. I think that's probably coming most likely.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, so these people are trying to cheat to get into a college that's going to better their entire world. What about these 11 guys up in up in Michigan that allegedly were deleting emission controls from vehicle, right? These are service companies, I believe is what they were, right? And trucking services, right?
Yes.
Diesel Freak LLC in Gaylord, Michigan, Accurate Tuck Service Accurate Truck Service LLC in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Griffin Transportation. I think Griffin is actually an asset carrier. Yeah, so these guys cheat. And this isn't alleged anymore because I read the other day, I think it might have been today, one of them pled guilty.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. So they're deleting the emission control systems to try and get around the Clean Air Act. Though I'll read a little thing from this article in Overdrive.
Yeah. No, I mean, did these guys did they come from Volkswagen?
Right. Formerly Volkswagen.
It was there. It was right over the plate.
Yeah, it says 3 companies and 11 individuals have been charged with violating the Clean Air Act in an aftermarket scheme to disable the emissions control systems of heavy duty trucks. I think that's a whole different level of cheating going on there. They're just trying to get around running dirty, as you would call it. They're just trying to play the system.
Yeah, they are. I mean, they're trying to. I mean, what are they afraid? Whether they're lower performance with those emissions controls? Is that what it was? Or
a lot of it probably has to do with a couple of things that I've heard from fleet owners. Okay. Number one is the DEF fluid, right? You got to keep that DEF fluid rolling, and you got to fill it up in that little tank. You got to buy it at the store, all that, right? But then secondly, those diesel particulate filters, they clog over time, right? And they have to be changed out. So I think it was probably just, if I had to guess, a money thing. Like, I'm not spending money on that. I'm not spending money on that. I'm deleting all of this stuff.
Yeah.
That's my guess as to what they were doing.
Yeah. And I mean, it wasn't like a 1 or 2, it's 362 violations.
Oh, ouch.
for diesel freak. Yeah. 362 times they did it.
Wow.
Accurate Truck Service was just new to the game, 83 deletions. And Griffin Transport, it says, at least 12. So at least 12, and we don't know how many trucks they actually had. That could have been 100% of their fleet. I don't know.
Yeah,
but yeah,
I mentioned to you before, Michael, we talked about Harvard.
Yeah.
During COVID, Harvard did a massive study of COVID illnesses and deaths. And what they found was the areas where there's more population and there's higher emissions levels higher instances of COVID and a higher percentage of death rate. And it's basically, emissions are hard on our lungs and our hearts, frankly, over the course of time. It all ties together, right? You can't disconnect your heart from your lungs and your lungs from your liver, and it all works together. So if it's affecting your lungs, it's affecting your heart. It's affecting your health. So they're unfortunately just saying, I just don't want to comply.
Yeah, I agree is what they did. I mean, and you're right. It has to be a money thing, because it wasn't like they were going out there going, hey, I want to kill people. Right.
No.
We're going to kill them real slow and sneaky. We're mass murderers, but we use nitrous oxide coming out of our exhaust to do it, right?
No, I don't think that was the motivation of it.
No, I don't think so either. I don't think so either. But you're right. I mean, if they're doing it for like fuel economy or something like that, or whatever the cost, the fuel economy, the maintenance, and all that type of stuff, right? Is you don't have to cheat to do that, do you? I mean, because they're waiting for hydrogen.
Well, I didn't really properly introduce, honestly, you at the front of the show. You're helping alongside of me with CyberFuels. We're reducing emissions.
Right.
We're reducing fuel consumption, which is another thing that causes emissions. And then you're also president and CEO of OPT USA, bringing monetary gains for through plastics recycling.
Right.
So we're out there working on fuel reduction, emissions reduction, plastic reduction, all with monetary gains, actually.
With monetary gains. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. From both of those things. I'm glad you picked up on that. I was trying to lob these over so you would start talking about CyberFuels.
Well,
But yeah, no, I mean, that's what I'm
have,
saying is these guys just don't know what's going on. And luckily enough for you people in the audience watching this, we're about to tell you that you can use CyberFuels and it'll do the same thing. It's not going to get you a $1 million fine, which you'll plead down to $750,000, right? It's going to put $750,000 potentially in your pocket because depending on how many trucks you're driving and where you're going, you're going to get what, 8 to 20+% better fuel mileage?
Yep, we've got studies out in the field and labs that are 8% to 31% better fuel economy, and we're averaging, 26 to 95 cents savings per gallon of fuel. Think about that. 26 to 95 cents savings per gallon of fuel that you use.
That is, I know some people who would love to have a card that they could just pull up to the diesel pump and go, yeah, I'll take 26 cents off the gallon.
Exactly.
Right? I mean,
I would. I'm in line for that.
Yeah, I mean, so it wouldn't take long for, like, say, a night Swift to realize $750,000 in savings, right?
Oh, not very long at all. No, Be very.
And they'd probably have to do a few more than 362 deletions of emissions controls too.
Yep, exactly. So, Michael, it's fun always talking with you, podcasting with you. We're out there doing things in the sustainability area that help monetarily while reducing waste and emissions. That's what we're out there doing. And so fun podcasting with you, man.
It is. Hey, I love it too. Did you catch a fish over the weekend, by the way?
I did. I actually first time ever caught a rainbow trout on a fishing trip with a buddy I've known for 35 years. Never caught a trout before. Wow. I'm usually bass fishing, catfish fishing, crappie in Oklahoma on the lakes, but we did a little river fishing on the lower Illinois and got my first rainbow trout ever.
Nice. Did you catch and release, or are you cooking them babies up over fire?
Catch and release in our case. I didn't want to try and keep fish on ice for 3 or 4 days in my cooler and ruin my cooler. Is that bad?
Probably.
No, we did catch and release. So, we were just out there honestly to get away into the trees and the river and fish for a while. And it was really awesome.
You just dropping a line, or you go fly fishing, or what do you?
In our case, we did not do fly fishing. We did a line with a lure, minnow lure. We tried some of these bugs basically that the fish love, and we'd put them like 3 feet off the top of the water and just let them run. And they would hit on it. Boom,
Nice.
Yeah.
That's fun. That's a lot of fun.
It was good. It was awesome, honestly.
Very cool. Very cool. Yep. Well, maybe people will use more CyberFuels and we'll keep those rivers clean so you can keep fishing, man. Exactly.
Well, I guess that's going to do it for this episode of the Sustainiacs podcast with Michael Vincent. Thanks for listening or watching, everybody, and we will see you again soon. Take care.
Right on. Peace and love.
Peace and love.